Sometime when the 2020s, two geeks from social media formed an alliance to bring you geek news from across the Nostalgiaverse. They are Jacob's Toys and SuperSorrell. Bringing you a weekly live show, toy news, TV and movie reviews, special guests, opinions, tangents, and bad impressions, reveals, releases, thoughts, maybe dreams. Now prepare for the Geek Week in Review.
Oh, it's episode 125 of the Geek Week in Review with me, Jacob's Toys, and of course, the wonderful one and only SuperSorrell. If you're new to the show, hello, how you doing? Do check out the link in the description. It's got all the links to our social media handles, is that the right word? And if you're watching us on recap, thank you very much. Come and try to tune in one Sunday for the live show. Quick shout out to a couple of people in the comments. See people start getting chatting before we started. Where we going? Shelley, Stug, Annie Roberts, Bethany Beth, Harry Scott James Plays, Mike Nguyen. How's everyone doing? Hope you're all well. Hope you've had a good week. How are you feeling? You knackered, Sorrel?
Absolutely knackered. I've had a full weekend of it. All day Saturday I was in York, and then all day Sunday I was at For the Love of Horror. So
that's awesome. That is awesome. So we did put this out saying that this was going to be the Love of Horror recap show because Sorrel was at the Love of Horror convention today. However, it's been a mammoth week, hasn't it?
There's just been so much more to talk about. It'd be cool to talk about it, but I'm putting a vlog out tomorrow anyway with my haul video. But the fact that so much more has happened in the week that we need to talk about. I mean,
yeah,
this was before we saw the whole Loki thing. This was before Ghostbusters dropped. This was announced before all the cool stuff came out. Yeah. We thought it was going to be a quiet week.
So we'll touch on the For Love of Horror convention, but do go and check out the stuff on SuperSorrell's page because, as you said, the vlog will be there, so you'll be able to see everything going on. But give us a 5-minute recap. How was it?
Well, let me just first of all, for those of you that know me and have followed me for a while, this should not be a surprise. I got to meet Quinn Lord. So originally, I was really excited because I was the Keith Sutherland was going to be there and the Lost Boys and stuff, but they were so hard to get to. They were like 6 hours deep.
Wow,
and it was ridiculous. But Quinn Lord, I walked up straight away, no queue, no real queue. There was like one girl in front of me, so I got to see Quinn Lord instantly, and Brad Dourif as well. Brad Dourif didn't have much of a queue going on, so I got to meet Brad Dourif as well.
That's the guy that voices Chucky, right?
Chucky. Yeah. Voice of Chucky.
That's awesome.
So he was good. He was there with his, I want to say his daughter. If I get that wrong, I'm so sorry. I want to say it looks like his daughter. Right? That's all I'm saying. And I believe she's in the later films that Chucky puts his. Yeah, it's all sorts of wrong, really. When you think about it, Chucky puts his soul inside of her.
Yeah.
So and it's his daughter that plays. Yeah, it's fucked up. But but yeah, either way, I got to meet Quinn Lord though, because I was really happy about that.
That is cool. But yeah, I'm not surprised that the Lost Boys had such a queue. Do you know what I mean? Like there'll be people that went to that convention just for that.
Oh, there were people walking around in full cosplay. There were guys walking around with leather jackets on with Lost Boys written on the back of it, and there were some proper fanboys out in force.
Wow!
And outside the venue, they had a boardwalk. They built a boardwalk area. So they had a carousel, they had a ghost train, they had a burger van. They made their own little seaside area for it.
That's mad.
So there were people just taking cosplay photos, all lit up with all the twinkling lights going on and stuff. It looked cool. It looked good.
Cool. That is cool. But we have come to a decision today that next year, Sorrel and I are going to attend it together, aren't we, mate?
Oh God, yeah, mate.
So next year's For the Love of Horror, we will both be there and we will plan what we're going to do to the T. And yeah, so that's a little decision that we've come to this evening. And I'm very excited already. And it's exactly a year away.
It's exactly a year away. And to give people a little preview of the haul, just to give people a little something I managed to find the Mezco 112 Frankenstein in black and white.
Wow. That's cool.
50 quid. 50 quid.
Nice.
Absolute steal. That was with A1 Toys, so I'm so happy about that. But yeah, I spent so much more than this. So tune in tomorrow to see the downfall that is SuperSorrell. Please watch it because I need the ad revenue now because I'm going to be bankrupt.
Stug just quickly said in the comments, did anyone cosplay as the saxophone guy?
No. I have to say this though. There was a guy walking around, and he was disabled like me, and he had a scooter that was like a little bike. He managed to convert his scooter into a bike, and he
Wow.
was dressed as the Jigsaw Billy thing, like full costume with a mask and everything. And every time everyone come near me, it was Billy, and it was so funny.
That's mad. That is mad. That is really funny though. That is really funny. Anyway. So where should we start? Where should we start about the week? Because the week's been mad. Like obviously, the Marvels hit the cinema on Friday.
Yeah. No, just before we move on, I'll just say this is the proof that I am now bankrupt this week. This is like everything that's arrived this week. And this is before I went to the convention. This was Friday night, and it's evolved since then. Now
that's cool. I'm so jealous of that Nerf laughter. I'm not gonna lie.
Mate,
wow.
Look at this. I've got just boxes upon boxes behind me. It's like the old days where things are gonna fall on me and destroy me in my sleep.
That
cool. Nerf gun's gonna hit me in the middle of the night. I swear about it.
I can't move my camera, but I've got a whole ton of boxes on this side, which is mental, like absolutely mental.
Oh, I moved that thing again, didn't I? I did that thing again where I moved.
You've done it. You've messed it up.
Slowly twist around all the way around.
You messed it up. You messed it up. We'll get there. But it has been a mammoth week because we had the Marvels come out in the cinema on Friday. Yes. We had Loki, the season finale of Loki happen on Friday. Yeah. We had the Ghostbusters trailer drop. We had news on the Terminator anime. It's just been
and we've been talking, Mean Girls 2024 has just dropped the trailer.
That's madness.
Mean Girls, the new version of Mean Girls is based on the Broadway show apparently, so it's like the musical version of Mean Girls. It's coming to cinemas in January.
Wow, I'm not surprised though because there's been a lot of kind of like reunion shots and stuff of like the original cast and stuff. So yeah, it's due to happen. They're doing so many revamps and re-releases and everything of stuff at the moment. It's I don't know, kind of getting a bit boring. But one thing that is happened, I think it happened between this show and last show though, was the strikes are all finished now, aren't they?
They are.
So we've got so many actors and writers and all sorts of stuff posting stuff on social media again about the stuff that they're in, which is really cool. And I didn't realize kind of how much I missed it during the strikes, because people were all still talking about it, but to actually see the actors and see the behind the screen, behind the scenes shots and stuff like that has been really cool. And I think I just noticed it really for the Marvels, because obviously the guys involved in that have been posting quite a bit.
Well, did you see Ryan Gosling? As soon as it ended, his first tweet was, "Finally, I can say it again. I'm just Ken."
Yeah.
They couldn't refer to any character they played or anything because it was seen as part of the strike, wasn't it? Yeah. So that was his first tweet back, was something like, "I can finally say it, hashtag I'm Ken."
Yeah, and Matthew Lillard as well did a video. I don't know if you caught that, but basically not saying anything, saying something. Do you know what I mean? Like, and he said, "I'm not really good with this stuff, but like, I'm not gonna. Am I allowed to say about a thank you to people for seeing something? Like, it's But Stug said there that the sad thing is next year there's not going to be that many movies and TV shows. It is going to have a knock-on effect, but we've kind of been here before, haven't we? Where, do you not remember the writer's strikes back in the day and series were cut short and stuff, and you kind of notice it, but not as much. And in a weird kind of way, I'm kind of pleased because it kind of gives you that reset, doesn't it? Where we've had so much content and stuff coming out on TV and streaming websites and stuff like that, it actually gives you a little bit of a breather so that you can kind of look forward to stuff coming.
Yeah, don't forget as well, it only affected people that are in the guild. It only affected a certain. It was one of the. It's one of the biggest categories in Hollywood. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
It is one of the all the big studio films were screwed. But don't forget that only really affected the American ones.
Yeah.
Ones that all the films that are coming from foreign cinema, they're all still fine. All the indie movies are still going ahead as planned. Nothing changed for them. It was literally one section of Hollywood, but because of that, it dominates such a big portion of it. That's what they.
Yeah.
But that is why, if you've noticed recently, Netflix, Amazon, they've all been turning to indie, and all the smallest like films have been slowly coming on. That
Yeah.
probably wouldn't have seen the light of day before, but there's been some golden little gems pop up because of it.
And a lot of the people as well, like I noticed with like Ryan Reynolds confirming like the Deadpool 3 release date, James Gunn kind of re-mentioning the what's it called, the Superman release date and everything. They're just sort of out there really confirming what's happening and what's coming and stuff like that.
But I think some of these shorter seasons have worked in its favor for some things, because like we got the first half of American Horror. Yeah. American Horror likes to split itself into two halves now anyway. So we basically got one half of the story, and we'll see the other half next year. Same with Chucky. We got all the Halloween episodes on time, but now we'll wait and see the conclusion of the series next year. I'm fine with that, breaking it up, because sometimes it can be. There's so much to see on TV. Sometimes breaking it up that can probably be in its favor.
And it's quite good as well, because obviously with some shows, so things like The Walking Dead, we've got Dead City that follows Negan and Maggie. You've got Daryl Dixon, obviously follows Daryl Dixon. You've got Fear the Walking Dead is in its final season now as well. So that's just the Walking Dead property, and that's all kind of stopped. But normally we would be a little bit behind the US anyway, and so you'd see spoilers and you'd see things leaked and stuff like that. So knowing that there's like an actual pause now is really good, I think. Really, really 100%. Good. Yeah. Let's talk trailers, because there's been a couple of trailers out. Stuggs just said about Echo. Let's talk Echo first. So Echo looks really good. Did we touch on this one last week?
We touched on last week, yeah, because we were on the ball with Echo, because we mentioned about because we did a bit of a deep dive, didn't we, into the actual cast listings and things like that, and found out that there's like Matt Murdock and stuff's involved in a lot of it, and
and Punisher and stuff. Yes, we did talk Punisher about that. So, but the other main trailer that came out this week was, of course, Ghostbusters Frozen Empire.
Yeah, Frozen Empire. Yeah. We're back in New York for another sequel.
There was quite a few telling things in that trailer. So the first is obviously the Firehouse and Ecto-1. Like they made quite a predominant portion of the trailer. We saw all the familiar faces from before. The big three original Ghostbusters are all cast and all on IMDb to be linked to it as well.
Yeah.
Paul Rudd puts the suit on, which is, obvious. And there's a bit of suit change as well. They've gone for that kind of red look that we saw briefly in the real Ghostbusters cartoon, if you remember rightly. There was a couple of episodes where there was something to do with fire and ice or something, if I remember rightly, and they had like a red coat. So I don't know whether it's a link to that or whether it's just a little nod to it, but like Facebook groups have been going mad. Everyone kind of like, especially like Ghostbuster cosplay community, asking like, where can you get this coat from? Does anyone know what brand of coat it is? Oh, it's this, it's that, and all that kind of stuff. So expect a lot of cosplay Ghostbusters going to be in that red coat now. But interestingly, the thing that got me was that one person picked up that the PKE meter that they're holding, I think it's Phoebe's holding it, has got red lights on it, which is new. And everyone was like, does the HasLab have red lights? Like we've just practiced the HasLab with like 3 modes, and then they drop a trailer with a 4th mode. Like, so yeah. But the thing that I got from it as an action figure collector and as a kind of what is it? What's the right stuff? Like merchandise person, is that it's nice to see something different in the respect of we're gonna see. There we go. Bethany said it. A red suit 4-pack coming, lol. But it is nice to know that there's going to be kind of variations. They're not just in the same suits. It's not just going to be a slight change in what we've already got. So that's quite cool. That is quite cool. But I'm excited. Are you excited for Ghostbusters?
Oh yeah, I did a little trailer teaser for it. I did a little talk about it afterwards because in the trailer you see the demony monstery thing twice in it, don't you?
Yeah.
Because you see it at the very end when it's sort of like walking towards them, but you see it put its horns in. I think
Yeah.
that's what he was doing. He sort of like went bang and put the big horns in his head. So I don't know
Yeah.
what's going on there. But it
Do
looks
you think
interesting.
they've shown it though? Do you think that is the big bad?
I'm thinking so. It looks like, but then again, it could be that could be the stupid ghost that's in the first 4 seconds of the film. They did that with the last one. It was the girls one, wasn't it? The girl movie, the alternate movie, where they showed that weird mansion girl ghost where they're throwing up all over him, and that was in like the first 10 minutes of the movie and never seen again. So it
Yeah.
could be just a red herring, but it looked like a big bad, didn't it? It looked like a big demon.
It did. I'm just thinking along the lines of like the original one as well, of like Stay Puff and obviously Zool and Stay Puff and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, is this going to be a kind of a side boss? Is this like, I don't know. Either way, it looks cool.
The side mission.
A side mission. Is this like a random side quest? But yeah, it does look cool. It does look cool.
And of course, we got to see Paul Rudd he's actually wearing the Ghostbusters jumpsuit this time, so he's joining the team officially. He's not just a teacher now.
But he was there with the kids. That's what I didn't quite get. Is he like just kind of an adult playing Ghostbusters with the kids? Like,
like their mother's there with them as well, isn't she? She's with them on the rooftop as well.
I didn't pick that up.
The mother, I'm sure she's the mother. Yeah. She had the goggles on her head.
Oh, I didn't pick up.
There's a bit with the guy. They've got the kid from Strange Things on the one side. Paul Rudd's in the middle. Phoebe's on the right of him, and then in the other one is the mother. I'm sure that's the mother.
Oh, I'm gonna have to double check that.
Woman. Yeah.
Do you think we'll see the original three do much, or do you think they're just going to be like small cameo kind of things?
I think they'll be in it. I think they're going to be more part of setting up because I think they're in it to set up the new international storyline. Because we know that Ghostbusters International is now a thing. IDW are doing comic books about it. There's already been teasers that they're going to do a movie about it, TV shows and things. It's that is the future of Ghostbusters. So I think they're going to do more of the whole. We're setting up firehouses around the world with different Ghostbusters teams. I think that's going to be more of that. Yeah. I think basically New York is Winston's territory, and I think we're going to see like another house pop up somewhere else with like Ray running it, and like because like do you remember in the was it the Extreme Ghostbusters? It was Ray's a cult shop, wasn't it? They were all in.
Yeah.
So I could see them doing something like that to pay homage to that, and like have a team out of his occult shop.
That'd be quite cool.
That could be how they do it then, you know what I mean? Like one of them could move somewhere and set up a new team somewhere else, and that could be a way of keeping the old guys in the movies, but without them having to do much action because they are knocking on as well. Oh
yeah, they definitely are. Like Bill Murray is he's still Bill Murray, so he'll be golden until he stops. But if they don't have to do much of the busting, if they just do the kind of like training montage scenes and do some jokes and parodies throughout the movie, that's perfect for like Bill Murray, innit? And for them guys, that's kind of their wheelhouse. So and then leave the ghost busting bit to the new generation. Yeah,
because that worked in Afterlife. I mean, as cool as it was to see the originals, I like the fact that they didn't do too much and they were in it just the right amount of nostalgia time for me.
Yeah,
I wouldn't want the whole film revolving around them.
No.
I see them as giving the kids the information they need, helping them do we could beat this demon by doing this, and this, and like bringing out the books and like they do all the discovery bit with them and then leave the kids to it kind of thing. They're
essentially like their helpline. It's just like they're the IT support. So it's just call them up when you got a problem. Yeah, I mean that could work. That could work. I like the fact that Ghostbusters is still a strong franchise. I mean, there's a big enough following out there for people with.
The only thing I've got is if we're going back to New York, I'm hoping we see Janine again. I'm hoping she has another appearance, maybe picking up a phone. Ghostbusters, what do you want? I want that one more time.
She's got to do the line, hasn't she? She's got to deliver that line. There's talk as well that supposedly the baby from Ghostbusters 2 is all grown up and they're in it.
We were having that discussion last time round. About a year ago, we had this discussion.
Yeah,
that would have been a cool concept because it would be about right.
Yeah,
the kid.
But there's rumors that it's going to come to fruition in this one though. But hey. Let's talk Loki. Because Loki's a big one.
Oh, Loki was good. As much as I was against Loki about a week ago, I'm all for it now.
It was a really good series. Like there was no two ways about it. And yeah, I don't even know where to start with it really. Where do you start with it?
I don't know. I've got all the things I want to talk about to do with the ending.
It's you got all the things you want to talk about. The what
is the ending bit?
Come on then, let's start at the end. Because
obviously we see Loki become the master of stories.
Yeah.
That is what the role is. It's the master of stories. He's basically made himself, and he made a joke payoff from earlier in Thor: Dark World as well.
Did he?
A joke's now paid off after all these years. Well, it's not really a joke. It was more about when Thor's explaining how the 9 realms work, because it's obviously Norse mythology, and the Norse mythology is the tree of life, and the tree holds all the realms together. That is basically what Loki does at the end. He basically turns the universe into, I think it's called Ysildur, the big tree.
Yeah.
Which is what Lord of the Rings nicked the name for that place with the big tree. It's basically Norse mythology. That is the tree with the 9 realms scattered throughout it. So Loki took what he knew in his knowledge of how to build a universe. Instead of making it a branch, he made a tree.
Yeah. Oh, it was stunning. It really was stunning. And God of Stories, I think, is the comic book line, comic book title that they're obviously paying homage to, kind of going into. I thought it was also a very clever twist with what they did with the TVA about how they're now hunting the Kang variants. So there's all this talk.
You heard the nod about 616. You catch that?
Yeah, what I say again? I did catch it, but
there was in the episode towards the end of the set, there was a Kang variant in 616, but don't worry, the heroes there have already taken care of it. Meaning Ant-Man. Ant-Man obviously beat the shit out of Kang in 616.
Yeah, okay.
We've already at that point, Ant-Man 3's already happened. So the Kang variant for the universe of our MCU universe has already been killed. So we know it's not that one that's going to be the big bad in the end.
Right, I get it. I did wonder. I was trying to digest it all, and I wondered whether that was a subtle nod to something's already happened. But it makes sense. The only reason I didn't put that together as 616 is because it's in the quantum realm, isn't it? But obviously he's still in.
That's still a part of 616.
But what I thought was really clever with it is that with all this talk about Jonathan Majors and potentially them taking a detour and doing Doom as the big bad and all that kind of stuff, it was clever how they turned the TVA into a group hunting the Kang variants, because that's a story that could just fizzle out from there. Like, you wouldn't necessarily need to see Kang again for that story to come full circle. Like, I know there's a lot more in the comic books with like the Fantastic Four and all the different variants and all that kind of stuff, but as far as kind of rounding a story up, we've seen one of them in Ant-Man, we've seen He Who Remains in Loki 1, we've seen Victor Timely in season 2. Like, it could quite easily kind of round up there. Do you know what I mean? They could make a slight detour without upsetting too many people.
Well, now as well, you've got to think about as well, this Loki that we're referring to was from a different world as well. That wasn't the Loki from 616. That was a different universe of Loki, wasn't it? No, sorry, it was the Loki sorry, try again.
Yeah,
it was the Loki from Back in Time. Sorry, it was the Loki from Back in Time. So technically the Loki that is in that timeline disappeared from that timeline, so that Thor, what do you call him? Big bad purple face, looks like a raisin.
Thanos.
No, Thanos. So Thanos never killed that Loki. So therefore, a load of events that happened with Loki after the first movie never happened, because he was disappeared at that point. So therefore, his storyline after that never existed. So therefore, Thrawn never killed him. Not Thrawn. I can say again. Thanos never killed him.
Yeah, but that messes up everything.
Exactly. So this is where I'm saying that in that particular timeline, because they all branch, don't they? So the idea being, in that timeline, Loki now no longer exists. Nobody's there to stop Thanos from killing Thor. Thor dies. Thor never came back. Thrawn wins. You know what I mean? I keep saying Thrawn, but you know what I mean? There's a whole thing that they could play out there, that Thanos won in that universe after Loki was taken away. Doom could be the savior of that universe and be seen as a hero for a while before he turns big bad. There could be some way of weaving him in to that narrative.
Yeah. What I thought was really cool as well is that we've still obviously got Thor out there, and we've got Loki now essentially sitting in the center of time and all that kind of stuff, holding it all together.
He's now more powerful than Odin.
Yeah, oh yeah, he's mega
He's
powerful.
the master of time and space.
But there are a lot of stories in both Marvel Comics and also in Norse mythology, which could give us that reunion where Thor goes to the end of time, to the center of time and stuff, and finds like there's all sorts of stuff. Like there's the I think it's called like the Rune King or something. There's a story where he Thor basically looks to basically do what Odin did and learn about all the runes and stuff like that, and that would take him to the tree. I can never remember the name of the tree, but essentially take him to the tree. And as that tree is now Loki, there's an opportunity for that storyline to come to fruition as well, which is quite cool.
Yeah.
But all I came away from it thinking is that, like, is he literally just sitting there the whole time? That's all he's doing now, just sat there.
He has
Like,
to sit there. He has to sit there with his cape just flowing away with all the timelines.
What about when he needs a toilet or something? It's like, there is no getting away from that. Like, but I just thought it was beautiful. And what I thought was really poetic, and they played it a lot, was the flashback to the original bit with him where he talks about unburdened with glorious purpose and all that kind of stuff. And I just thought that was such a good payoff, because it was like, there's no way they had this ending in mind all the way back then when they gave him that iconic line. And to hear that iconic line as it was, and then to see this was just beautiful kind of payoff. And I think it just really pays it just really pays tribute to how good the storytelling is in Marvel, not necessarily MCU and stuff, but just the source material that the MCU has got to play with. It just shows just how good some of that stuff is. But yeah, I absolutely loved it. Absolutely loved it. I can't fault anyone in it. I really can't. And it was just they just kind of finished all. They completed everyone's arc. There was no one really left kind of, or what happened to them. Like even Kang, it was kind of like, oh, okay, so the Kang variants are now floating around and they're chasing the Kang variants as opposed to the Loki variants. Like it was just beautiful. It really was. I think it's by far the best thing that Marvel Studios has put out for a very long time.
So I think as well, yeah, it was great. It was a great ending and stuff. This looks like now Marvel have kind of gone, okay, nobody's really enjoying this multiversal storyline thing anymore. Let's kind of move on to the next chapter now. I think it feels like Marvel's putting a close to this whole section now.
Yeah.
And getting ready to move to something new.
I think, like, have you seen the South Park episode, the Pandaverse yet?
I've not seen it yet, no.
They kind of hit the nail on the head, the way that everyone, because they talk about how everyone's just sick and tired of multiverses, and it's a cool concept. It is a cool concept, but when it's in every single thing that you're watching, related to that property, it's kind of a little bit dull. And I think it kind of peaked at No Way Home. I think No Way Home was the kind of peak of it, and then since then it's just been a bit of a yawn fest. You know what I mean?
No Way Home felt like that should have come a lot later. That should have been the penultimate moment of the whole multiversal storyline, seeing the Peter Parkers come together. That should have been the multiversal ending. That was your end game, and they played it far too soon.
Yeah. I mean, the cool thing about it is it kind of gives you an answer to kind of questions in regards to, when you're watching other films from other properties and stuff like the Sony stuff, for example, and you can watch it knowing full well that they're not going to cross over with some of the other characters, but you have a reason for that. Well, they're in this universe and these guys are in that universe, and it kind of gives that legitimate reason to it. But yeah, I'm kind of over it now. I don't want another year's worth of multiverses and stuff. And yeah, it's kind of dumb. And it was beautiful. It was a beautiful ending to it. And yeah, I like the TVA. I like that kind of that corner of the MCU. And I just kind of want them to leave it now.
Yeah, I still stand by what I said a long time ago, and I still stand by it, which is after Thanos, the Avengers should have come to an end, and Marvel should have moved on to another property. Because that was just a beautifully lost.
I'm still here. I don't know what's happened there. Hang on.
That was just a beautifully that was just a beautifully built storyline over 10 years, and it made sense, and it built up to that moment. They finally beat the big bad. It was a big bad as well. And then it does feel like nothing could ever beat that now. So that should have been where we've moved on to the 10 years of the X-Men and start building up their storyline, and then have their big peak be Apocalypse.
Yeah.
And then move on to something else. You know what I mean? They could do that same tried and tested method for the next 50, 60 years.
Yeah.
If they did it in that format, it would work.
The
Because
problem
it'd be fresh
is,
characters every time. But it was this whole thing of, I think they had a big grander scheme of, I want to see, because everyone wants to see Captain America and Wolverine on the same screen. It's never going to really happen. It's too much of a minefield to get to, because they have to start somewhere to get to there, and it's too the timeline is too big. Bear in mind, Marvel's been going for what, 70, 80, 100 years nearly now? 80 years at least?
Yeah. It's 80th, I think.
80, then it is. I mean, they've been going a long time. We've only had 10 years of movies. They've been going a lot longer in the comics.
Yeah. No, it'll be 2005 was Iron Man.
Yeah.
So what, we're a year away from the 20th anniversary now. But even that, I mean, and before that was the Spider-Man movies, the X-Men movies, you know, they were early 2000s. So we're already in the mid-20s, you know. No, but what I mean is that we've had, well, they kind of do, because we've still got that same Wolverine coming back on our screen. We've still got that everyone went mad for Tobey Maguire. So it's like we got films that came out before some of the people watching them were even born. That's how mad the kind of thing is, and we've not been able to get from point A to point B properly yet. So what, you invested another 40 years, 20 years into movies in order to get that? You know, they're going to be past it by then. We're going to have new people cast and everything like that. Yeah. Let's touch on the Marvels very quickly. Now, I know there are some people who haven't seen it in the comments, so I'm going to kind of issue a spoiler warning here. I'm not going to go into too much detail about the film. I will let you see the films yourself on that. But to me, there were two really interesting parts of the movie, and that was the last 3 minutes and the mid-credit scene, and they were the two best bits of the film for me personally. The film was okay. The film was decent. But yeah, it's not my favorite Marvel film. I'm just giving everyone in the comments enough time to just get ahead of this. But there's two bits that I'll talk about. The bit right before the end of the credit, before the end of the film, and the mid-credit scene. So that is what we're going to talk about right now. Okay, so if you've not seen the Marvels yet, or you don't want to know this, then mute or whatever. If you're watching this on replay and you haven't, this is my 10-second spoiler warning. All right? I'm going to go into spoiler territory here, but if you are on the internet, the chances are you will probably see it somewhere. So the first thing that happens, so the film itself is pretty good, right? It's decent enough, and I think it's probably my favorite kind of one out of the kind of Captain Marvel series. But it just kind of throws these three characters together, and they are very different on screen. You know, like the Miss Marvel series was very different to the Captain Marvel film. And you're right.
Sorry, I've been sorry. I was reading the mid-credit scene. Holy shit!
Sorrell's just caught up. But towards the end of the film, Nick Fury is obviously heavily involved in this film, and Miss Marvel, Kamala Khan, really liked working with some people, and at the very end of it cut scenes over to like a warehouse, and Kate Bishop is walking in, and the pizza dog's there and everything like that, and Miss Marvel is sat in like a black coat with a black hat and everything, and she basically just gives the line that Nick Fury gave Tony Stark at the end of Iron Man about, he's like, oh, Kate Bishop, like, I know all about you, and I'm putting a team together and all this kind of stuff. And then it kind of switches into the jokey bit, because she's like, you know, you're not the only you're not the only kid superhero. And Kate Bishop's like, I'm 23. And she's like, yeah. But I think Ant-Man's got a daughter as well. Like, so they kind of talk about that. And then she shows a little iPad that's got all the information, and then it cuts. So obviously it gives us that lead into what we've been saying for weeks and weeks, that they are going to do a Young Avengers. That's coming, whether it's Young Avengers, whether it's West Coast Avengers, or whatever, however it is they title it, they're going to do a subsection Avengers film with these guys at the helm. And I'm all for it, to be honest with you. I think that Hayley Steinfeld as Kate Bishop is very watchable. She's got a lot of charisma on screen, and she does the part justice. Kamala Khan is very good. She's a great character. Everyone absolutely loved that first series of Miss Marvel, and she's a big kind of fan favorite at the moment in the comic books. So I think that it could work. And seeing the two of them on screen together talking about kind of an Avengers initiative as such was quite exciting, because it was the first kind of hint towards that next step. And we've talked about it before, haven't we? We've talked about it before about the Young Avengers and who would be in it, that kind of stuff. But shy of those three that we mentioned, I don't actually know at the moment who else they would bring into the fold. Like, we haven't seen anyone else, have we? It would have to be new characters.
What, for the Young Avengers?
Yeah.
The whole team has been announced. The whole team's in the movies.
No, they're not.
Yeah, they are.
Who?
Wiccan. The two kids are in Wonderverse. They don't have to get casted, but they've been introduced.
But they're not real, are they? They're not real.
They're real. Don't you say that? They're real.
They're not. They're
Wanda can make them real. That is how powerful Wanda is. And if she unlocks that part of her power, if they introduce that as part of the X-Men, which they should do, then she's all powerful and can kick the crap out of anyone. Anyway, Wiccan and Speed. Do they call it Speedball, or is that a drug? I think that's a drug.
Speedball is one. It's Wiccan and what's his name?
Wiccan and the other one. The two sons. Anyway, you've got them two. Then we got introduced to. Well, normally in the comic books they have the Hulkling, don't they? But they've not really introduced him. But in the last films, they introduced Hulk's son in a post-credit scene.
That was in She-Hulk.
I see that. I see him maybe joining the team.
But
we've already had the Captain America. The boy in, the boy in Captain America. The young lad.
Yes.
He's going to become Patriot.
Yep.
Then we've obviously got Kate Bishop. We've obviously got what's she called as well, Black Widow.
Yelena.
Ant-Man's daughter. So that's 6.
That's it. Oh, okay, fair enough. Yeah.
They're slowly introducing the children or links to of the younger version slowly throughout all the TV.
And we've had Falcon as well. So in Falcon and Winter Soldier, he passes the mantle down, doesn't he? So we've got the new Falcon. So okay, they're out there. So but that's cool. But what it made me think is that we've got these Avengers films announced, and the title's all the same looking, and the branding and everything like that. But it's not going to be the same lineup. We knew that it wasn't going to be the same lineup, but now we're seeing these kind of characters come together, which is quite exciting to actually see it kind of come to fruition.
Oh, and I reckon they'll put Kamala Khan with them as well, because she's young enough. They'll stick Kamala Khan in there.
Well, she's the one.
Marvel.
No, but she's doing she was doing it, wasn't she? That's what I said. In the thing, she's kind of putting the team together as such, which shocked me. It wasn't. I'm surprised that she was the one doing it, but it doesn't necessarily mean it is her going to be doing it. But she's approached Kate Bishop and she's mentioned Ant-Man's daughter. So so that was cool. That was very cool. And there was But I was
going to say, even if they just reintroduce, even if they just bring back Yelena, Kate Bishop, Ant-Man's daughter, and then Kamala Khan. Even if there's just 4 or 5 of them, ignoring Wicker and stuff, even if they had 4 or 5 of them, it could be a good all-girls team that people could get behind.
Yeah, and if you think back to the original Avengers, there was only half a dozen of them in the first one anyway.
So I mean, 4 or 5 of them, you've got a decent little team there. They're all well-established characters from the franchise. I could see that working. Plus, they're all young enough to run with it for a good while. And the fact that they're all young girls, you'd get a boatload of new young audience going to them. Yeah. Imagine the doll series that could sell of that. My daughter would be all over that.
Oh yeah. And if you think about it as well, it is kind of doing the same tried and tested thing. Is that they have that team, they have a base team that they come out with, and then following that movie, they then build up the rest of the team. So you could have it that, I'm not sure which one comes first, but say the Kang Dynasty is the first one. You have that with the base team, and then between that one and the Secret Wars, that's where it builds up, and they bring in old characters and stuff like that. So yeah, and obviously you've got Spider-Man kicking around as well. You got Peter Parker kicking around. He's of the same age as well. So yeah, so it's there. But as I said, there was no post-credit scene, so there was nothing after the movie, but there was quite a big one in the mid-credits.
You can talk about that one.
It was by far the best mid-credit scene I've seen for ages, just because of the payoff. The payoff was huge, and if you haven't seen the film, it is worth going to see the film just to see this post-credit scene. So long and short of it, Monica ends up in another universe, another timeline, and she doesn't know where she is or whatever, and she wakes up essentially in what is the X-Men mansion. That's the long and short of it. Her mum's there, but it's not her mum. She's binary in that universe. And you have the big blue Hank McCoy voiced by Kelsey Grammer. But it's not the same beast that we've seen in the films. It's a lot more CGI'd one, but it looks
it looks different.
Great. It looks like straight out of the cartoon. Straight out of the cartoon. Lab coat, glasses, it's beautiful. It is beautiful. And to have Kelsey Grammer's kind of voice come through of it is just stunning. But it begs the question, because he talks about Charles as well. He says, Charles wants an update. And they're not sure where she's come from. But it begs the question, what universe is it that she's landed in? Where is Monica Rambeau? Where has she landed? Because if you think to the X-Men timelines, now the X-Men timelines are so confusing because of Days of Future Past, because of Logan, because of Deadpool, all this kind of stuff. So you've got a handful of different timelines. You've got the First Class timeline, which is the earlier side of it. You've got the original kind of X films, which is later on in life. You've then got Days of Future Past, where you see the apocalyptic kind of ending. You see the Logan one, it's in like a dystopian kind of far future kind of thing. And then Deadpool is kind of modern, but you see the Days of Future Past cast in Deadpool as a bit of a comical sort of tie-in. But because it's Kelsey Grammer's Beast, I would say, and this is my theory, do you remember in Days of Future Past, after he reset the timeline and everything, and then he ends up in Charles's mansion and everyone's kind of happy? It's that big happy ending, and Jean's there, and Kelsey Grammer's Beast walks past him and says hello, doesn't he? It's the first time we see Kelsey Grammer in quite some time as Beast. I think that she's landed in that timeline, but further along. So when everything's kind of going well, that's where she's landed. So we are essentially in the kind of the Wolverine, the Deadpool, like all of those characters could kind of tie into this. And it kind of gives us a little bit of an insight into where Deadpool's going to work and how that's going to work. But it was beautiful.
Yeah, or the MCU could just be cheating and deciding we'll pick the best bits of all of the X-Men franchise. And because let's be honest, I think when Beast was played by Chelsea Grammer, he was a good voice for Beast. He's got that voice.
Oh, it's perfect.
It's perfect for Beast. So, I mean, that's what I mean. And if they can CGI him a lot more now, he doesn't really have to do a great deal. You know, I mean, if he can just voice it, that's perfect.
And he's just started Frasier. He's just started a new series of Frasier.
He's having a comeback, hasn't he, at the minute?
The guy is not leaving anytime soon. So, yeah, that would be beautiful.
So, I mean, if they get like him back, Hugh Jackman, obviously, Charles Xavier, Patrick Stewart.
Yep.
Pull him back, because obviously everyone knows him, and he's obviously already appeared in the MCU as Charles Xavier now. So I mean, bring back the best of the MCU of the X-Men universe to then help it push it forward, so we can get the X-Men in a bit quicker without a lot of backlash. You could just spoon it in a lot nicer there, and then recast those characters as different versions later on.
I think what's really exciting as well is that the Deadpool film is supposedly going to give us a whole bunch of X-Men characters that we never got.
Yeah.
Like, you know, so I would love to see Channing Tatum turn up as Gambit. Like, I would love to see that. The film that never was. Do you know what I mean? The guy he even posed in photos with like Hugh Jackman. Do you remember that big
Yeah, I remember that
photo of and then it just never came to anything.
one.
But and I think that the Deadpool film has got a potential of kind of giving or testing the grounds with who reacts well, what characters react well, and all the rest of it. And then the MCU are going to run with it. The only thing I was surprised about is that obviously in Miss Marvel, we had that little tease that she was a mutant and not a superhero as such. And then they played like the first few bars of the X-Men theme, didn't they?
Yeah.
But in the end of the Marvel's film, it's not Miss Marvel that's there, it's Monica Rambeau, like Photon and such. But yeah, either way, it was brilliant. It was absolutely brilliant.
I hope, because of the fact that to get all these characters to different multiverses, we need people that can open portals and stuff. For me, I'm still hoping either Magic or Blink are brought back in, because they were both well thought out characters with good actresses behind them. And definitely, I mean, Blink, definitely, she was on the Mutants TV series, if you remember that. I'm not about the one from the film, I'm not about the TV version. Jamie Chung played an amazing Blink. And to bring her back would be awesome. Because, I mean, that whole, if you haven't seen Mutants, people in the comments, if you haven't seen Mutants, please go watch it. It's amazing. Because they even introduced Magneto's other daughter, I'm crap with names.
Yeah, she's Ian Gifted.
Yeah, Gifted, that's what it's called. And you had, obviously, they introduced Warpath, and they gave us a really cool version of the X-Men without touching on the originals. And they made a really believable universe out of it. So it proves it can be done.
Yeah.
And they didn't get a fair shot.
All it did is it just gave me real hope that, the X-Men universe in the MCU is going to be very good.
Yeah.
There's no two ways about it. It is going to be worth the payoff. It is going to be worth the payoff. But there we go. So anyway, that's enough about Miss Marvel. So if you are on mute or you're hiding because you didn't want any spoilers, we will finish there so you can come back to the chat. Yeah, we'll leave it at that. We'll leave it at that, and I'll wait for you to see it. Where do you want to go with next?
Whew. I don't know. Where do you want to go next?
Let's talk toy news.
On the list. I was looking at my list here. We've talked about Marvels, Loki. We've done those. Okay, yeah, toy news is fine. We've got that. let me get some pickies, because there was some cool stuff this week. There's some really good stuff.
Andy hates just throwing the trolls out. Yeah, it was Ezra Miller as Mojo. That kind of work.
Oh dear.
Edward Norton, though, talking about Edward Norton, like, I'm probably disappointed that we're not going to be able to kind of touch on that one, because I actually quite enjoyed that first Ed Norton Hulk film.
What could they never bring him? Oh no, they can't. So
but he wouldn't. He wouldn't work with them. They won't work with him.
Oh, it's a shame, really. Because it'd be cool to bring him back as a multiversal Hulk from another world, or bring him back and recast him as like Red Hulk or something. I don't know.
Well, that's interesting, because obviously there's a lot of theories about Red Hulk turning up in Captain America, but the date on that has now been pushed back 6 months. So how that will affect the timeline? Because obviously Harrison Ford's in it, isn't he? As picking up the role, and there's pictures of him on set with like tattered clothes and stuff. So yeah. Anyway, let's get on to toys. Look at this big Viking dude.
So, 4 Horsemen Mythic Legions came out this week with a boatload of new figures. We knew from the week before that we're going to be dropping them, but we had no idea how cool they were going to be. So we're getting some Norse figures this time around. So we got this big guy who looks like he's just stepped straight out of Skyrim.
Yeah, man.
Then on the opposite side, because they always do like an opposite, we've got like a gladiator style set, which he looks cool as well.
Yep.
He looks like he's straight out of Spartacus. He looks awesome. Each one comes with multiple heads, hands, accessories, pieces, so you can kind of customize them up as you want them. Really, they look amazing. Cloth pieces as well, including this range, which looks awesome. So that's the same guy you just saw, and it's how different does that look from one to the other? It's like a completely different figure, man. It looks awesome.
That's what the action figure community kind of needs now, is that these these toy companies that are putting out action figures with a whole bunch of accessories and things like that are going to be the ones that people ultimately go to,
Yeah.
because one of the biggest complaints with action figures is the lack of accessories in some packs. So people will start looking for what they're getting with their figure as opposed to the figure itself.
Now this big guy looks awesome. This is Bodvar the bear. So
Wow.
we're getting a big bear in this one. He's got a saddle on his back as well, so you can stick a figure on his back, which I think we see later on. But yeah, he just looks amazing, that big bear. Looks so good.
It just reminds me of, what's that film with the polar bears in it?
You on about Golden
What's it called?
Compass?
Yeah. It just makes me think of Golden Compass.
Yeah,
But
Brodar of Bodrica or something. He's got a weird name. And then we get this big dude, big Viking dude.
wow.
I won't
I'm
say
with
the
you.
names, but I can't pronounce any of the names.
I'm just trying to find something for you so I can send it over to you, but I am with you.
So yeah, they're all well customizable and stuff. Plenty of heads and things going on here. My favorite one was this big dude. So this is Diz, I think that's pronounced. Again, 6 arms, loads of weapons.
I love figures with multiple arms. Like, they're just awesome.
Again,
When they're done right, anyway.
Yeah. Then we've got a couple. I think these are dwarves. I want to say they look like dwarf characters, but yeah, they look cool as well. All like Norse dwarves.
They are very cool.
And again, if you army build them, like as you see there, there's like 2 or 3 different variants you can get out of them because of all the different heads and things.
Yeah,
So that's pretty cool. You make a little band of, and again, this guy, I think, even if you're not a fan of Mythic Legions, he looks awesome. Or
that
she,
is
Venetia.
very cool.
Yeah,
that is very cool. Is that a plastic cape or soft goods?
Soft goods, always soft goods on Mythic Legions.
Yeah, cool.
They're very good with soft goods. Yeah, she looks awesome. Then you've got the female Viking as well, Neve.
I love the arrows in the shield.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and they're like a permanent fixture. It's not.
Oh
like
yeah.
Yeah, they're very cool. She's not wearing much though. Like, considering they're taking the pictures in the snow, she's not very well covered up.
It's fantasy.
No, she's gonna kick. Wow, Minotaur!
Yeah, big
It
Minotaur.
always just makes me think of role models. The Minotaur.
Feed the beast. And then a skeleton warrior as well. Scapula.
They're very cool. They're just very cool looking figures.
Overall, mythically, look at that. Look at that.
Is that the same figure?
That's the same figure, yeah, just a big red robe around him.
Wow.
It's what they do. They give you multiple different versions of each character, and then of course we get the horse as well to stick him on because you need
I'm sure that's a unicorn in that first one. They've made a black unicorn.
So yeah, you can put a unicorn horn on him.
Wow.
Take
They're
it off,
just covering everything.
They always do. The stuff that they release is awesome. I've been slowly getting into them more and more because when they release a figure, they give you the figure and then basically say, and this is what you can do with it, and they give you about 50 accessories.
That's
all
cool.
different versions. And the fact that you can remove all the armor pieces, the cloth pieces will be all removable. That's what I love about them.
The green on that skin as well is very
vibrant.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was the Mythic Legion announcements, whole wave. So you can.
When are they due?
You're good as this guess is mine. They can be quite slow from time to time, but this is the next wave, so you'll be able to pre-order them through Cool. What's that one called in the UK? The one that Simon always uses, Cool Emporium.
Cool Emporium, yeah.
Cool Emporium are very good at getting the Mythic Legions here in the UK, or you can go direct through the Mythic Legions store, or the Four Horsemen store, they call it. Store Horsemen. But yeah, they're very good. But I was going Cool Emporium, to be perfectly honest.
Emporium of Cool.
Emporium of Cool. Yeah, I always go with them. I always go with them if I'm going to buy a wave of them. But if I'm buying the one-off figure, then I'll usually just go with the Store Horseman, just because of the import charges. I can imagine if I bought a whole wave and then it gets stopped at customs, jeez, because they're like 60 quid a figure.
I'm gonna have to have a look. I'm just actually looking it up now. This guy cracks me up though.
Yeah, so McFarlane did a little drop this week, and oh my god, there's 3 very weird little distinct characters. So we're getting the Marvel McFarlane Collector Edition Wave 3 launches November 15th, featuring Captain Carrot, Batman as Green Lantern, and Superman from the Return of Superman. So there's your Batman Green Lantern, because no wave of McFarlane is complete without a Batman.
No, you gotta have a great. You gotta have a
Captain
Batman.
Carrot. Am I the only one that saw that and went, I must own this figure? I don't know why, but he must be on my shelf.
I don't know anything about this character.
I know nothing about him, but he's going to be. But he's going to take pride and place, and on Easter, he's going to get loads of photos taken of him.
Yeah,
he's going to be the official Easter bunny of my collection.
Shelley said that I need that rabbit to go with Jax. You know what? I still haven't bought Jax. I need to buy
Jax
it.
Is awesome.
I need to buy it. I just can't bring myself to buy it. I don't know.
Can we all tag Mythic Legions and just say, we've had a Santa, we've had a sleeve, we've had a headless horseman. Can we now have an Easter bunny, please? And then my life will be complete.
I am. Yeah, I mean, I think the only bunny I've got in my collection is the Easter bunny from Nightmare Before Christmas. But yeah, I don't know anything about him. I mean, it's very cool looking. The texture on his suit alone is very cool, but I don't know whether he's like fake or whether he's a caricature character or whether he's a real superhero, supervillain in the DC universe. I've never come across Captain Carrot before. Anyone knows anything about
when you even saying it just sounds ridiculous. Captain Carrot.
It sounds like a cereal. Like, do you know what I mean? It sounds like something that you would invent to make kids eat carrots.
Mate, Captain Carrot and his amazing zoo crew.
Is that the thing? Is that the actual thing?
That is the DC thing, and there is drawings of him saving Superman. So
wow. So he is a full-on superhero out there
with his zoo crew.
Captain Carrot and the zoo crew. Wow.
So this looks to be in the same vein, in all honesty, as like Spider-Ham.
Okay.
Because all of the zoo crew are like other anthropomorphic creatures that are based on the DC universe. So looking at it, it looks like there's a duck there that's clearly Green Lantern. Captain Carrot, or whatever it's called, is clearly meant to be the Superman of their world. You know what I mean? They definitely look like variants of like the regular heroes.
Yeah.
So I think it's meant to be in the same sort of cheeky vein as like your Spider-Ham kind of thing.
He looks like he means business though.
The McFarlane figure looks amazing. It's completely different compared to the artwork I'm looking at.
Oh, really? It's like comical.
Yeah, well, the artwork I'm looking at is like Bugs Bunny. There are some more modern comics where he looks a little bit more serious, but all the things I'm seeing here are pretty much Bugs Bunny. Whereas McFarlane's drawn him as like some sci-fi age superhero.
Andy, are these genuine members of the zoo crew? Ali Catabra and Yankee Poodle. Are these?
I need to Google this now. Let me find out for you.
Are these actually characters of his zoo crew?
Oh, yes, they are. Members of the zoo crew include Captain Carrot, Pig Iron, Ali Catabra, Fast Brack, Rubber Duck, Yankee Poodle, Little Cheese, and the American Eagle.
It genuinely sounds like a Ninja Turtles like ripoff. Like
They live in Hollywood, California, on Earthsea's version of Hollywood, California.
Wow.
They had the first appearance in New Teen Titans number 16 in February of 1982.
Wow.
I love this more and more and more. The more I read it, the more I want this figure. I'm not gonna lie. Oh, there is a storyline where they have a fight with the characters from Oz Wonderland. Oh my god. So they go to the land of Oz and meet the Wonderland characters, and there's a storyline called the Oz Wonderland Wars. I need to find this comic book.
Wow.
And he fights the Ozama of Oz, which is the villain there. I need to read
Wow.
this comic book. This sounds so stupid.
Shelley's just said, "Oh my god, why are they only just releasing this line?" Thing is, though, are we going to get all of these characters, or are they just giving us Captain Carrot? Like,
I hope we get the rest of them. But what they might be doing is this version that they've given us seems to be the one that was in DC's Convergence storyline from 2015, which the Zoo Crew teamed up with Harley Quinn to defeat the Brainiac. So, yeah, it could be that version of the storyline. So you might get the characters from that world.
well, I mean, that is a niche action figure collection, isn't it? Like characters that resemble rabbits.
Yeah.
Just...
They had some amazing villains, my friend. They had some amazing villains, including the Shaggy Dog,
the
Cold Turkey,
Cold Turkey. Oh man!
And my personal favorite, the Salamandroid.
The Salamander. I could get behind that one. That sounds quite cool. The Salamandroid.
And oh my god, the Squawker, the Squawker. His real life name is Polly Wannacracker, and he is the Squawker. He was a parrot.
No. I'm done.
I need to turn that off because I'm going down a rabbit hole here, literally.
Excuse the pun. That's mad. That is mad. It's weird though, isn't it? How all the comic books have this weird kind of animal alternate reality. Like they all kind of do it, but I think it's because of the success of things like Ninja Turtles and stuff. That,
yeah.
You know, their whole thing is these humanoid characters. So yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna have to look into that though afterwards. I mean, in all fairness, they're no more ridiculous than the X-Men. Do you know what I mean? Or other or Justice League or anything. Like just because they've got animal heads, they're not actually any more ridiculous in concept, are they?
Nope.
But
so, did you also see this week? Because I have to share this. Good Burger 2 is coming out.
I did hear
Keenan and Kel are reuniting
finally
to make Good Burger 2.
Yeah. So this is one that has been on the cards for a long time, long time. And there was a bit of animosity, wasn't there? I can't remember whether it was between the two of them or between the writers. Oh, excuse.
Yeah, they didn't reunite for a long time, and I don't know. I think there must have been something between them two for a long time. But they started to reunite through SNL.
Yeah.
SNL kind of reunited them, and now they've come back together and said they're going to finally do Good Burger 2 because everyone needs that sequel apparently. But did you ever see the original?
Oh yeah, it was one of them films when it came out, and I was kind of, this is cool. I liked watching Keenan and Kel on, when it was on Nickelodeon, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And I just kind of, I watched the film and I was like, okay, cool, they've made it into a film, because they tried to make films out of all of those sort of teen Nickelodeon shows, didn't they? Like the
thing that confused a lot of people our age obviously was because it wasn't Keenan and Kel, was it? It was them playing two other characters, but a lot of it was basically Keenan and Kel. It was very similar.
And that's why I was kind of like, you know what, it's, if they'd just given me like a proper Keenan and Kel film, I probably would have, got behind it at the time. But I was just like, yeah, okay. So yeah, it wasn't one of them ones where I was desperate for a sequel. Do you know what I mean? I wasn't kind of like, oh my god, this is the best thing ever. I was just like, okay.
See, I've never forgotten the whole "Welcome to Good Burger, home of the Good Burger, can't take your order."
Yes, that's all I think of. That is all I think of when I hear about it. But I don't really know what they're going to do with it. Like what? It's kind of like the Bill and Ted movie when they did the other Bill and Ted movie, and I was kind of like, in that kind of vein, I was like, I didn't need it. We didn't need it. Okay, it was okay. It was cool to sort of see characters that were young once, old now, back on screen together. I was like, I didn't really need it, and I think this is even less so. It's like, Good Burger was okay.
Yeah, the whole thing of Good Burger it was about a big corporation coming in to take over and put Good Burger out of business, and then they rivaled against it and won. This film seems to be about a big corporation that is coming in and taking over the Good Burger business, and they fight back against the business. It sounds like it's exactly like the first movie, just with different people, and it's been 30 years.
Right.
It sounds identical. Yeah,
But
yeah.
the other thing as well is that when they worked in Good Burger in the first film, they were like teens. If they're still working there now, they have not done much with their life. Like they are still just serving burgers. They've not really elevated at all, you know. So I don't really know where they're going to go with it. But.
Yeah. Other than the fact that I think this was just literally a Paramount Plus cash-in with Nickelodeon's backing.
Oh, massively.
It's just a cash-in. Keen and Keller doing nothing other than Saturday Night Live. They're not going to turn around a paying gig. I mean, the only other person that's in this movie is Carmen Electra. Looking at the cast list, there's not many big names in this.
She hasn't done anything since like 1995 anyway, has she?
Exactly. So that's what I'm saying. Like, no one big is in this. All the people in it are like that Lil Rel Howery and Josh Server, and these are all people that are Saturday Night Live cast members.
So it's just going to be a Saturday Night Live film.
Basically.
I mean, that could be good. I mean, if it's got a Saturday Night Live kind of feel to it, then that's, you know, that could be all right. I don't know. Like Paramount Plus hasn't really done much for me. Like I've not jumped onto it because it's not providing much for me, and they've just put I think it's Paramount Plus that the Fraser new one is on. But even then, I'm kind of like, I enjoyed Fraser at the time, but I didn't need another series.
Yeah, the thing is, Paramount Plus, I think in America it's great and it works. In the UK, because of distribution rules and stuff, we're seeing things a lot later. Like the whole South Park thing is not on Paramount Plus yet.
Oh, really?
Because I looked at it because I was going to renew my Paramount Plus just to watch that new Panda episode thing they were on about. But it's not on there yet. So they are slow at putting things on.
Yeah. But I don't know. It's I'm not bothered about things like that. What do you make of this Terminator anime then? What do you make of that?
The new Terminator animated could be really interesting. Netflix, it's another Netflix anime. So I mean, they've been doing well with the animes. I mean, Castlevania and stuff like that's amazing. They're really killing it with the anime live action movies as well. So, but Terminator,
He-Man did all right, didn't it? Like the He-Man, I know it wasn't strictly anime, but it was animation.
In the same vein, yeah, it's in the same vein.
Yeah, but yeah, I think it could be all right. I mean, there's not much information about it though, is there?
No, but they did give us a little something in the trailer thing, which says there is no fate. On August 30th, 1997, 2 days from now, everything changes. So it's going back to Judgment Day.
Okay.
So I'm hoping that means we might get Arnold's voice in this.
Yeah.
That would be a cool way of doing a Terminator sequel with Arnold without him being old and thingy. If you could just stick his voice in a cartoon, I'll be back.
Yeah.
Stick him, because he can still do the voice. Get him to the voice the Terminator, and just have another John Connor and thingy storyline with them, with all the cast in it, just without having to have him on screen.
Do you know he never wanted to do that line?
Really? He never wanted to. I'll be back.
When he originally read the script, there's interviews of him saying this and that. But when he originally read the script, he read it and said, "Oh no, this reads wrong. Like it should be, I will be back." And like the director was like, "Just do the line, okay? Like, just do it as it's written." And they obviously didn't realize it was going to be such an iconic line. Yeah, he was kind of questioning it and going, "Well, it should be, I will be back." It's just very polite Terminator. But yeah, no, I'm excited for an anime version of Terminator. And when you sent me the link, I thought very much along the lines of like the Animatrix. Do you remember when they kind of did that? And they kind of filled in some blanks using the animation. And I was thinking if they did that with Terminator and kind of expanded on things that they didn't expand on, or give us these little kind of sub stories that they couldn't dive into too deeply with the films, that would work really well as well. Just kind of expand that universe out a little bit.
So, do you want to know the official synopsis?
Go on, then.
In August of 1997, a computer scientist named Malcolm Lee is working furiously from his lab in Tokyo to launch an AI program that he believes will save the world. As the course of the future changes from the past, an unrelenting assassin is sent back in time to murder Malcolm and his 3 children in order to ensure its future dominance over humanity. The assassin is followed through time by a lone soldier who will do anything to keep Malcolm and his family alive in order to prove once and for all that there is no fate. That assassin is undoubtedly a Terminator, which can't be good for anyone except us viewers. That's all they've given us so far on this. And then obviously Terminator 2 Judgment Day, that takes place on August 30th, 1997, when Skynet became self-aware. And obviously the Terminator comes back in time to try and kill John Connor. So it's based in that timeline, but from a different. This is in Tokyo rather than LA, so it can't be anything to do with John Connor. It's to do with a new bunch of characters. But obviously we're going to get some form of soldier and Terminator coming back through time.
But that's kind of what I was hoping for, in the respect of kind of branching out and giving us, like, you know, something going new around the scientists as opposed to the Connors and stuff. Don't you think it's really ironic though that, you know, back in the late 80s, early 90s, they were writing films about artificial intelligence taking over the world and kind of being this, like, you know, and you think back to that iconic scene where the Terminator's walking along, crushing the skulls and all that kind of stuff. And that's the dystopian version of artificial intelligence and AI and all that kind of stuff. And you fast forward to like 2023, and we're just using it to make pictures of us with like Viking clothes on, and like, you know, what would I look like as the Joker and stuff. It's just very, very different to what they imagined for Terminator. Like, yeah, the AI is pretty much just good for filters. Let's be honest. Like, you know,
it's still scary. This is the phase where we fill its head full of nonsense. This is what we're doing at the moment.
I know. Yeah,
we're just feeding it crap information right now.
Yeah, there's a couple of guys that do like TikTok videos and stuff of like Chat GDP and kind of making it self-aware in that respect, and making it kind of have conversations with people on their behalf and stuff like that. And yeah, it is quite scary. It really is quite scary, the kind of level that things are moving. And the Pandaverse, the Pandaverse talks about that as well, like about kind of how basically no one knows how to do anything manual anymore, and it's like they all rely on like AI and like all these jobs that are being replaced by AI, but then like the people that can do manual work become like the rich because they're the ones that can do stuff. So it is a funny concept to kind of think of, but I don't know. I mean, after the last couple of Terminator films, I've lost faith in it a little bit. Like Terminator 1 and Terminator 2 for me were so iconic at the time and such a big part of, well, I love the films, I love the franchise. Terminator 3 I could even kind of get away with and kind of go, you know what, it's not great, but okay, I'll go with it, it's okay. But then they just oversaturated it. There was another 2 films after that, and they've just kind of, it just expands it too much. But yeah, I was a massive Terminator fan.
And to be fair, Tim, if you really want to ruin it for yourself, just go listen to Neil deGrasse Tyson talk about Terminator and how it can't possibly exist.
Oh, really?
Because he's stupidly brainy in it, and he basically says that is not how time works. No. He believes that time is the multiverse theory. He believes in the whole branching timelines thing, similar to what Marvel is trying to explain to you. That is the multiverse theory, and he believes in that. So he believes that if you kill John Connor in one universe, that doesn't stop the entire future from happening. All that means is in this version of your timeline, that person died, but in all the other timelines where he survived, that's fine. There's anything and everything can happen all at once, basically.
That'd be funny to see other versions of yourself, though, wouldn't it?
That'd be mad.
Like, you think back to like 2 or 3 really key parts of your life that set your life on a particular trajectory. And think about meeting a version of yourself where that didn't happen, or it happened a different way. Like, it's mad. It is mad when you really kind of think about it. But
it's like when my cousin once got really, really, really high and talked to me about. He said, if the world is really a matrix, then does that mean that I'm a regular person in the matrix, but all my disabilities are damaged code? Like where's your brain going?
Wow.
But then that set me spiraling, going, that could be right. What if that's true?
That's like, yeah. That is a really weird way of thinking about it, though. Man, my
Anyway,
head
off this weird tangent we're off on. Inside Out, nicer things. Disney, Inside Out 2. Did you see the trailer for that this week?
Yeah, it looks fun.
They're introducing a new emotion to us, anxiety.
You know what? It's fun, but at the same time, I'm like, like kids nowadays, they're too clued up on anxiety and stress and all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, now you're putting it in the film. It's like, but it was cool. I mean, it looks a lot of fun. I loved Inside Out. I really did. I thought it was such a well done film, and just a really cool way of looking at emotions and human behavior and that sort of through the eyes of kids and stuff. So I'm very excited for where this is going to go.
Yeah, I just like the original film because of Bing Bong. Bing Bong was my favorite thing on the planet.
Yeah,
the big imagination elephant.
Yeah, it was just very clever. I mean, the ideas of it and the kind of thought process that went into it. The fact that they're giving it a sequel is good. We've got that Wish film as well coming out for Disney, haven't we? I don't really know anything about that.
I've not really been looking into it too much. I don't really know. It's the next Disney princess film. That's all I know.
The next big one, isn't it? The next big one. Did you catch that on a studio short?
Yeah.
All the feels watching that was so cool. Like, there was something really, really cool about that.
It was cool. It was cool. There was a lot. I'm on the fence with all the other Disney purists, though. I'm sorry. It didn't look right. It looked weird.
Oh, it did. It did look weird. It did look weird. But there was something.
They had updated animation with old school animation. I think if they'd have done something where they came out the paintings and they all looked the same, that would have looked better to me. If they updated some of the animation a little bit, but they kind of left it. Some looked a little bit dated by comparison to others, but it was what it was.
They did, and it's just like the newer characters didn't quite work for me. It was that they're the ones that looked out of place because it was like they don't look like they fit in the place you're putting them. But it was just really interesting to watch that, like my wife and our kids and stuff, and we sat down and watched it. And it wasn't until it kind of finished that I realized that we were all watching different parts of it. I was very much about the kind of Aladdin and that kind of era of characters, and was getting a pop out of seeing things like Genie and obviously Robin Williams' voice and stuff. Whereas like my younger kids were like kind of more excited about like Encanto and Frozen and stuff like that. It was really cool, and it was just like, wow, this really appeals to loads of different people. But is there anything else big coming for their 100? Because obviously it's a big year for them.
Disney haven't really announced anything massive. There's nothing huge been announced, as far as I'm aware. But no, they're kind of just continuing on the path they're going down. They've got a lot of sequels coming out. We know that there's going to be another Frozen movie that's been greenlit, because they're never going to let that bandwagon go now.
No, of course they're not. That is their powerhouse, isn't it?
Yeah. But no, they're going to probably make a bunch more live action films, but because of obviously all the strikes and stuff, not a lot's really been announced from them. No. But so there's a lot of new merch coming out. Mattel have got the license now to make Disney products, and they're doing the Disney 100 action figure line. So there's a highly articulated Mickey and Minnie coming out very soon that look pretty cool. It's about 50 quid for the box set, but they do look pretty nice.
That's quite a cool concept.
So I'm looking forward to seeing what that line brings, because they tried it a little while ago with the Pixar Spotlight series, and they released a couple of really cool figures, but they never came to the UK. Like you could get Flick from Bug's Life. There was a Wall-E and Eve 2-pack, and then Buzz and Woody, but they never really got a release over here. It was the first time we got a decently priced, highly articulated Woody and Buzz, because the best ones out there is they're called Yamaguchi.
Yeah.
They're the best ones you can get, really. But these were like rivaling that, to be honest. They were pretty cool, but you just can't get them for love of money.
By Mattel?
Yeah, by Mattel. Yeah, wow. Mattel's Pixar Spotlight series, they're called.
Oh, right, okay.
Because I tried picking them up when I were in America, and in America they were Target exclusive, so it was needle in a haystack trying to find them.
Yeah. For a big toy company like Mattel to take that on, there is a huge amount of property that they could put into that. That's a line they could be releasing figures for years and years.
Oh yeah.
If they did it properly and it worked right. they could just keep going. You know, you'd get a re-release of Mickey and Minnie like all the time, but then you could literally just work your way through the films.
Yeah. No, the next big thing that's coming out of Disney apparently is November 17th, and we're getting Dashing Through the Snow, which is starring Ludacris and Lil Rel Harvey, a Christmas movie.
It's like Fast and Furious in the snow.
Probably.
It's ludicrous, like, you know. What we got happening next week? I'm trying to think what's coming out ahead next week. We had so much happen this week. I can't actually think if there's actually anything between this show and next.
I don't think there's a lot.
No.
Because of this, I'll tell you what though, because of the strikes, this is the Disney Corporation, and next year they've got next to no movies coming out.
No, I know. That's where I think we'll notice it. That's where we'll notice it mostly with Disney.
2025 is massive for them. They've got so many movies coming out in 2025, but 2024's listings are few and far between.
Yeah, it's going to be quite sporadic, isn't it? But for us, we've got a few quite exciting things taking place. We have got we've lined up quite a few interviews, haven't we?
Yeah.
So over the coming weeks, even if the content's not there, we have got quite a few very interesting interviews lined up. We are just dotting the I's and crossing the T's and making things work. But we've got a few different interviews with people from various different places, actually. Some very well known, some not so well known. But that's going to be a lot of fun. So do stay tuned, and we'll of course update you with like thumbnails and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think. You got anything coming this week? Got any big? I mean, you've got such a massive haul this weekend.
I'm going to be honest. I hope nothing else is coming this week because I need to catch up now. I need to have a full. I need a full week of reviewing. I think. Yeah. I've got plenty of stuff here going on.
I am seriously behind. So I've got I'm going to get the metallic Power Rangers out at last when the pink one arrives. So she'll probably be arriving this week. I'll have a look at them as a whole.
Nice.
I've got a few hot toys turning up as well, which is always nice. Got this little bad boy out of the box with his little light up little quadrant of, you know, where he's doing all the
that's cool.
That kind of sits in front of him like that, but it kind of blocks him, so I don't know if I'm actually gonna display him with it. But yeah, I've got a couple of them turning up. I'm just trying to think. I haven't got Diamond Select. I've got something coming from Diamond Select as well, which is going to be exciting. And Invincible is back on the screens as well. I don't know if you actually watched Invincible the first time round, but
I've never seen it. I've not watched it. I keep getting told I should watch it, but I've never got around to sitting and watching it.
Amazon Prime. I think there's only maybe 8 episodes in the first season, but it is a very cool animated show. And we're on season 2 now, so that comes out every Friday. So yeah, we're 2-3 episodes down now, I think it is. No, 2 episodes down. And obviously Diamond Select do the figures for that. So my collection is standing in pride of place over there, and I'm going to set up a nice little Invincible proper display and everything like that. So yeah.
Nice. Yeah, no, the thing that I've got a box from Diamond behind me. I need to do the video this week. But yeah, they sent me a nice bunch of stuff as well. So I've got plenty of reviews coming up. Yeah. Not all of which are horror. I've got a right good mixture of stuff coming up this week. But I tell you what, I should have to show you. Okay, quick. So I was speaking with Bargain Max, as you know, and they sent this bad boy.
I am so jealous of that one. That I saw that in Smith's, and I was like,
so well, when I spoke to her, I thought it was going to be the blue, you know, the blue one that's like on discount everywhere. I assumed it was going to be that one. I didn't think it was going to be this one, the 30th anniversary. This is the brand new one.
Yeah, it's the brand new one.
I didn't realize. I assumed this was the black. When I saw it on the website, I just thought this was the blue, like version. Yeah. This is like the nice new one. It's the baby T-Rex from G2. So
it's very cool looking. But the reason why it stands out to me is because whenever you go and watch one of these kind of like live dinosaur shows, afterwards there's always someone with these hand puppet things on. Yeah. So I'm surprised it's taken a toy company this long to kind of get behind that and do it. But when I saw I wasn't fussed about the blue one, but when I saw the T-Rex one, I was like, I think I need to get that.
There's a guy who's been doing it at Comic Con for the longest time, and he's got like a hand one, and he has like a clicker in his hand, like Owen from the from Thingy. And every so often he'll go, hey, look at me, and he makes like the puppet look at him and stuff. He's so good with it. He's like proper learning how to use it. It's so cool.
That's cool. That is very cool. But yeah, no, I might pick it up. But Bargain Max is obviously where you can get hold of that. So
Yeah,
I did
Bargain
see
Max
it I've seen it on shelves. That's where I first saw it. But
and then of course you can see the great big Mandalorian Nerf gun as well.
So you know what? The only thing that put me off buying that is you get one bullet. It was kind of like that is going to be no good in a Nerf fight with my.
Again, I've got a vlog coming up because I went to Manchester this weekend. I couldn't not stop by the Trafford Centre.
Of course.
Because it doesn't shut till 6 at night on a Sunday, so I had to stop at Trafford, and so obviously I'm a big Hasbro nerd. So me and SuperSorrell Junior went and bought some Nerf guns. So we got these ones because these ones are perfect for her because this is the Nerf Junior series. Awesome. So these are easier to pull back. They're not as hard to pull back, and the triggers are a lot spongier. Yeah. So they're made for smaller hands basically. And you know where you can buy the Nerf bullets? Dirt cheap. If you go in the store, if you buy the guns in the shop, these are half price to buy.
All right, cool.
So these to get 20 bullets. This was normally a $5, and then it's a $10 for the 50 pack. Yeah. Whereas if you buy the gun, they give you this for £2.50. So I got half price on this, and this gun was only a $10.
Nice. So
for like 20 odd quid, we bought 2 Nerf guns and a load of pellets, and we've been playing with them all night.
Nice. Yeah, we love our Nerf guns. We've got so many. The amount of bullets underneath sofas and behind tellies in our house is ridiculous. But yeah, I wanted to get the Mandalorian blaster, but I was like, no, it's got one bullet. And I know what would happen. I'd be doing a proper Nerf fight with the kids, and then I'd like shoot my bullet, hit one of them, and then I'd have to go, I need my bullet. You're not having this one.
Preview for people in the comments, my plan is to do a skit with it where I'm going to go to the park and there's a big climbing frame that's like a box, and I'm going to basically sit up in there like Jackson from Saving Private Ryan, and I'm basically going to get Paige to run around, my daughter to run around the thing, and I'm going to literally film myself doing the whole God is with me and he is my right hand.
Amazing. I can't wait to see that one. I can't wait.
As soon as I like, I need to do the Saving Private Ryan skit. I need to do the sniper rifle bit.
Yeah,
that was my favorite scene as a kid.
I want to get one to paint up, and so I've seen a lot of people like customize them and paint them up, and then just display them. So that's kind of my desire as well. I think I'm going to get one and do it up. I'm really annoyed that I never got those Star-Lord blasters because they are so hard to get hold of now. I just wish I'd bought them at the time. I really wish I'd bought them at the time.
Yeah, you'll see the video on my channel this week, but the Nerf store at Manchester, oh my God, it's a Hasbro shop just selling Nerf products. And they had this life-size poster cutout thing of Mr. Beast. And they had like the whole, because he's got his own Nerf guns now, hasn't he? He's got them new liquid bullet, them like gel bullet ones. So they had all them on display. And basically in this shop, in the back part of the shop, they have an arena set up where kids can pay like a $5 a turn, and they basically get put on a helmet with a little goggles, and they basically get to go play Nerf with other kids, and it's just this big open arena space. And they just run in and they just load up the guns and just start pew, 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 pew. You just pick up bullets off the floor and keep reloading them and firing them. Paige was in there for like an hour. I paid about 3 turns for her. She was just running around that for about a good hour.
That's awesome. I just want to go in there myself.
Yeah, that's what it's like. That was the thing. I was like, "Is there an age limit on this?" Yeah, 16. Like, damn it!
Oh man,
I'm fat and I'm slow. It'll be fine. Don't worry about the children. I'm gonna get pelted.
Like, do circles in the middle.
Yeah, just walk in with the big the big Gatling gun one. Goodbye, children.
Oh man! So check out Sorrell's channel to catch up on those vlogs this week. I'm really looking forward to seeing the horror one and now the Nerf one as well. So I will definitely be checking those out. But that brings us to about a close. I think it's about 11 o'clock now. So yeah, there we go. Episode 125. So we are back next week as always. Geek Week. We will look at anything that happens in the week. I'm sure there'll be 1 or 2 drops coming out. I think the one thing that we can kind of assume will happen is now that these strikes are over, actors and directors and writers and stuff are a lot more vocal, and they're kind of catching up on the time they lost. So I think we're going to get quite a lot of kind of drops and not spoilers, but hints and stuff like that.
Just think of all the trailers that were going to drop that couldn't drop. They're about to drop.
All those trailers are about to come out. So there we go. Thanks everyone in the comments for joining in. Sorry we didn't get to all of them. We'll get to them next time. Next time we'll make sure that we're checking out comments a lot more. Go check out Captain Carrot. Check out Sorrell's vlog videos. And of course tune in the same time next week to catch us on a Geek Week in review. Anything you want to finish up with, Sorrell?
Bye.
Kiwi Geek.